skip the 27 club, I think I'm good. Now I feel the dream, gotta sink it in.
So I don't have any complete answers, but what I can offer is a little bit of insight into what is beyond being just another Orphic man in the 27 Club. And I don't mean that as a pejorative against the legacy of some of the great artists who've contributed to our culture, but just as a warning against those with us today. The primary thing here is namely the integration of other aspects of the personality. To be more specific, I would say that the number one archetype to look into is the archetype of the king. So for me, that might be King David or King Solomon or the stories of my ancestors as a Jewish man. But the king archetype has many variations throughout all cultures. And when you look at the king archetype, it's something centering. The king has a view of his domain, of the different elements. The king has a view, an overview of the different activities going on in the kingdom, which represents the personality, and he can organize that around a central perspective. And this central perspective is linked to the greater self, what I'm going to call God for the purposes of this video. It's something that C.G. Jung referred to as the greater personality, or simply the self with a capital S. And it is this self which emanates or brings forth meanings, not meanings that are linked to one-sided complexes driven by archetypes, as in, I'm just a poet artist, so I'm a little bit crazy, you know, or I just have these destructive relationships. No, the self emanates meanings that are comprehensive. The way towards the self is really through a development of the anima, the feminine side. And that really will require another video. But just to say here that getting outside of and beyond a femme fatale or a perfect spiritual woman, or this voluptuous, endless bosom of the Great Mother herself, to a more individual appreciation of woman as other, but also an aspect of self. Her qualities. Is she spiritual, intelligent, perceptive, creative in her own capacity? Is she earthly and grounded and just likes life as it is? And to really connect to her and to goodness, to a good soulmate, a helper, a companion, a collaborator in life. So to develop and to bring out other aspects of the feminine, either through relationship or self-development, self-work, connection to the anima, to crystallize out of the mother complex, out of the femme fatale and the voluptuous Great Mother, a more personal and related image of the feminine. This is called the anima development in a man. The motifs of love, loss, marriage and death, success that is failure, descent and ascent, aesthetic sacrifice and orgiastic demise, dismemberment and reunion resound in countless creations and innumerable lives. In its drama and emotion, the myth offers access to the underworld realities of our experience, the intense emotion that is always associated with the vitality an archetypal idea conveys, a premonitory experience of wholeness. The myths are illustrating the patterns that are operative in our life. And if we can hold it and understand it and get connected to what's going on here, we can have a little bit more autonomy, free will over how we want our lives to look. And we can be larger people who have the Orphic, poetic longing and a connection to all what that represents, a spiritual longing, an intense creativity, and even sensuality, without it taking over our lives in a downfall. As Jung says, The task is not to deny the archetype, but to integrate its meaning. A famous Jung quote that I often repeat: we don't want to deny that these are a part of us, that these archetypes or instinctual patternings of behavior, we don't have to deny that this is a part of life, it's a part of us, but to get a little bit more in tune with what this means and how I choose to be related to it, to this big it, which is primordial, which is bigger and larger than life. That's okay. But I also want to be in life, alive and well and good. So I'm hoping that you're alive and well and good and find this video to be helpful. Comment below with your reflections on this video. Did you pick up on anything that was in the video that deserved more attention? And definitely click subscribe if you found this useful, and thanks for listening.